counted for following up to that. But Bob was always fun, and I helped recruit Rob to the company, and a lot of good stories and memories around Bob. So we just be praying for his family. Well, good morning, and again, thank you all for being here. It's great to see some faces again. There's some of you we see pretty often. Ronnie Bagley shows up every couple of weeks, whether it means to or not. And, but the Hutchcrafts and different ones. It's been a while. Snyder's. It's good to see faces. Good to get hugs. Good to shake some hands and just catch up. So really appreciate y'all being here. Jeff has he's blamed me like the whole week for packing up this agenda, and it was really him. So he's got me on a tight schedule. I did this presentation once already, kind of, and it took me about 30 minutes, and he only gave me 15. So I got to get on the roll. Obviously, we're celebrating 35 years of business. It's on your coffee cups. It's on. We've been sticking it on everything, right? 35 years of business everywhere. We're an established company. Many years of experience. Many great people came before me, Rick, and we have a history, right? Why in the world at this point in time do we suddenly need to come up with a mission statement and core values and try to redefine everything? And honestly, as we were stepping into this, myself and Nick and April and Shane and Janie and Jeff, but as we were looking at this, it almost honestly seemed kind of silly, but we've been through some trauma. The whole industry's been through some trauma, and sometimes when you go through some rough things in your life, a corporation and a corporate entity is really no different than a person sometimes, you know? Sometimes you go through a rough spot in your life, and then things start to clear up and get better, and you have to kind of sit down and figure out who you are again. And so that's kind of what we've been doing. Things have been getting better, and we had to take some time to sit down and say, who are we? Some of the most important things that we know are written down, right? A lot of us here within the company, we write our goals down every year. We have our goals, and we review our goals, and they're written down, and they're in front of us, so we can be accountable to those, so we can know those, and memorize those, and understand them, and go for it. Our city governments, there's ordinances, and all this stuff. Our state governments, our federal government, the Constitution, so on and so forth. When things are important, when they're important enough to be written down. And they're written down for a purpose. That's so you can, when things get rough, or you need to just get a focus and a center, you can always go back to those things that are written down. When our country gets in upheaval over social issues, obviously there's all these conflicting views, but you go back and you say, well, here's what's wrote down. What does that mean? So that's kind of what we've been doing as a company. We've been writing it down. We've been trying to figure this out. And obviously, if you talk about the purpose, what is the purpose of my company? When I started a company in a little small little business, me and a partner in the mid-90s, doing websites. And I think, what was our purpose? Well, the quick and easy answer is to make money. That's kind of maybe the first thing that pops to mind. But really, it's not so much purpose. It's the intent of the business. It's an absolute requirement for the business to continue over time. It has to be there. It's a necessity. But if that's just your purpose, then really your customers, they're not ever going to buy into that. They're not that concerned about your profit. They want you to be healthy because they want us to stick around, another 35 years, and they want to know that we're still here and healthy, so we can help them with any issues that may arise. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we need to get healthy off of them, right? I want you to do well. You just don't have to do really well off of me. I want the best deal I can get. That's how we are. That's human nature. Nothing wrong with that. But if profit is your sole purpose, your customer can't buy into that. And they'll read through and they'll see that. And as companies that establish themselves, and that is the only sole driving force of their people, they usually have really bad customer service, or they just don't stick around that long. So it's been encouraging working with Shane and Nick and April, and as we talk through all this, for their servants' top part to open up. And that's kind of where this came from, to help our customers fulfill a dream through their new home. And at the end of the process, with honest faith, have them happy to repeat it all over again. Are we going to fulfill that 100% of the time? No. We're flawed just like everybody else. We make mistakes. We can't do everything just right, even though we will try to do our best. But that's our goal. That's what we're shooting for. That's what we want. If we can achieve that, if you can achieve that, because it's your customer has a lot of dealers and our salespeople, and you talk about referral business and a good talk, and it's good. It's good. So that's what we're shooting after. There's a few things that kind of have to go along with that. One is we're not just selling, we are serving. You have to look at every customer as an opportunity to serve them and help them get something that they've probably wanted maybe all their lives. We have to account for the fact that building a custom home is not easy nor stress-free. There will be problems. So we have to help customers through the process with grace and patience. Just like we try to extend grace and patience with each other, hopefully, we have to do that with our customers as well. And we got to, Shane hit all of this, we've got to provide a great product at a good value. And I believe we're good there. I really do. Some of the core values you can look over. You all have this in your folders, so I'm not going to elaborate on these. But I am responsible. We shoot our sacred cows, the pricing program. It's going to be, the old pricing program is soon to be dead. And we may literally take the machine that runs out and shoot it. So we have plans. Excel in the ordinary, be a servant, be blessed, no fear, communicate often and clearly, do the little things, no gossip, approach problems head on, and we all maintain a positive atmosphere. As we were looking at this, Nick mentioned Dave Ramsey organization, and we went to a seminar and done different things, and I'm a big fan of their organization. I think they've been voted the #1 place to work in Nashville for the past 8 or 10 years. Out of all the other companies in Nashville, they've been voted #1, and there's a reason behind that. They're very purposeful about the culture they create there. And that's part of what these purpose statements and core values are meant to help define. If you can, well, let me ask, Southwest Airlines, for several years now, their customers and their employees have voted them the best airline in the United States. Time after time. We fly Southwest. We did not long ago, and the guys on there, he's singing us off the runway. You know, they're having a good time. They're moving people across the country. I think they're being profitable. I don't know, but they're making an impact. They're making an impact with their customers and with their employees. Do they have better trained pilots? No. Do they have better trained stewardesses? Technically speaking, no. But they've created a culture. They've created a culture there where success is expected, customers are put first, and people work well together, and they have fun doing it. That's what we're, listen, this has been, in honesty, this isn't even necessarily new. A lot of this stuff we do already. Some of it is goals to kind of get to push us and to get there. But again, sometimes you got to write this stuff down and define it. That's what we're trying to do. And so I wanted to present this to you all so you can understand a little more about You're not sitting in the office day to day with us, and you're not sitting behind the desk and running up and down the halls with us and stuff like that. So, give you a little more insight about where our heart is, what we're trying to do, and where we're trying to lead the companies in the future. And we want to be successful. We want you all to be successful, and we want our customers to be absolutely blessed and happy with their homes. If we can do that, I think we're successful as a group. So that's all of that. If you have questions about any of that stuff, want to talk about it, I'd love to. I'll be happy to do that. Back transition here, I'm going to introduce Claudia. I'll just be very honest with you. I thought I could do the advertising and marketing, and I couldn't. And a lot of stuff needs work, really does, and it's due to neglect on my part. But we realized this. We've got some room to grow, and started looking at areas that Jeff talked. You got to have sales come in, right? We got to feed the beast up here. We got to feed the manufacturing plant. Shane talked about this. We make better money when we're running at a higher quantity. That's just how the company's set up. Well, to make sales, you got to have leads, and to get leads, you got to have your name out there. So we recognize that our marketing and advertising was a weak area now, an area that we needed to infuse some new life, some new ideas. So I started trying to put the word out and looking for different people, and Claudia's name come up, and we met in Murfreesboro one day, and I just went to kind of sit down and talk. And my interview process isn't probably like a traditional interview process, but I knew in my mind where a lot of our weaknesses were, some things that I thought we needed to do and needed to talk about. And I sat down with Claudia and I gave her a little preview of who the company was, and she looked at our website and different things, and we sat down, and over the course of time, she proceeded to lay out to me a lot of the things that I had in my mind that needed to be done without me even having to lay it out there. She's telling me, and then expounded way beyond that. And so I was excited. We just sat there and talked, and I thought we'd maybe spend an hour, and we looked down, and we talked through lunch. It'd been about 3.5 hours. We were both starving and wore out. But I want to introduce to you Claudia Johnson. She is our new marketing director, and has been working for about 2 weeks, week and a half, and has already made a huge impact and been a blessing to me. So welcome, Claudia.
I'm going to get Jeff Clements a job as the headline writer for National Enquirer, because he has put on here discussion of exciting plans, and I've been here 2 weeks. So you may not exactly get what's on the front of the Enquirer. I love communication, and I think that's the most important thing. I've not been in the lawn industry before, but I've been a communicator all my life. Daddy, I had interviewed my parents when I was in 8th grade about my childhood, my little story. And my daddy said, well, I couldn't wait till you could walk and talk. Now we should sit down and shut up. So I figured I was doomed to a communications career. And at this very moment, the exciting plans are that we're going to learn how to better communicate with people that need to call us, that people that need to communicate with us that they want a house, so y'all can sell them one. I mean, the real point is we got to get the leads in here, and we got to get them to you guys and let you sell. It's that simple. And one of the things that I think I need to do is to listen, to hear you. And I have created a little survey that looks like it might take you months to do it, but I tried to make it so you can very succinctly tell me your answers to these things. If you feel comfortable saying it to me, I will keep them private. My boss doesn't have to know who said what. Because I would like to create a report that says to them, here are what people on the front lines are saying that they need to be successful. This is what they're doing overall. this is what's lacking. This is how we can help. I think listening and understanding and being able to, for you to communicate it to me and me communicate it back to the folks that have decision-making power is very important. So I would ask that you do that survey for me and try to get it to you before we all go to the dock tonight if possible, because I do want to determine what we're going to do. Obviously, we can't communicate with the world anymore if we're not communicating through social media, through email, through all these other tactics. And I don't know how many of you feel completely uncomfortable with all of that, but I want to know that by the end of the conference on that forum. We're going to work very hard together to try to determine the one thing is what will make people call so that you can sell them the best log home that's made in the country, right? If they will call you, you have a chance to sell them. If they will contact us, we will sell them a log home. Two things. I asked Jeff, I said, what in the world am I going to say to these people when I've been here just a few days? And he said, oh, let them know a little bit about who you are. They don't want to know that. But I will tell you, two things that are really important to me in my life are family and history. I love family. And I love history. I love genealogy. I love Tennessee history. I love the history of the community where I'm from. I lived in Upper Cumberland for 5 years. I love Upper Cumberland history. And in case any of you are wondering, this region is called the Upper Cumberland because of the Cumberland River. It's nothing to do with mountains, by the way. But anyway, when I got up here last week, I already knew about this company. I knew it was a great company and it was very well respected. I knew the people who ran it were respected people because of having worked as a regional editor of a business journal. And there's a copy of a recent one of those journals. I was the editor for 3 years, and I'm still great friends with everyone. And they asked me to do a special issue, and I think I had 5 stories in there, so the guys put that in there so you can see that. But I knew this was a big company, and I never imagined I'd have a chance to work for them. So their history in the community is impressive. Their history in employing people and creating a good product and bringing positive reinforcement back into the rural part of Tennessee. And this is very rural. This is an important contribution to that. Well, that was a good thing. History is there. The sense of family. I had no idea about these people. So I've been living up here for a week now. And I have found out that the president of the company will actually argue with you about whether there's butter or margarine that needs to be available to you with your breakfast. He won. He won. Because I'm standing there and saying, I'm thinking about the margarine so much cheaper. He's like, yeah, but they need real butter. So that tells you something. I see these guys work cleaning packing boxes. This incredibly talented young woman who works here that does your plans was mopping the floors the other morning. There's a sense of family here, there's a sense of purpose, there's a sense of history, and what I really hope that my contribution can be, and I hope that you all will help me by feedback, is that my contribution can be part of that history. And it can definitely make that history far, far expanded into the future, as it should, with the kind of products you have, the kind of people that you have. So anyway, that's it. Wish I could tell you more. Maybe next year I'll have a PowerPoint. But this year I'm just telling you I'm going to do the best I can, just like I see everybody else here doing, to try to help communicate so people will contact us and y'all can sell them a house. That's what I understand is the purpose of this. So thank you for your confidence in me, folks, and I hope in the future I'll prove very much that you're right. We want you all to grab your phones, whatever you have, over the course of the next few hours we're together, and snap pictures, send them to us by email, or just go right ahead and upload them to our Facebook page, share them, get some excitement going. I took pictures with the cabin I'm staying in the other day, and I've had an amazing number of people. Even had somebody email me yesterday for seeing it on Facebook, on my personal Facebook, and wanting to know about pricing something for them. So I think that really will make a big difference. Just don't take a picture of me, okay? Each other. Thanks.
excited about it. I tell you what, she got us back on schedule on our agenda, which I am really surprised. Getting to know her this week, just like Josh and her first meeting where, they talked for 3 or 4 hours. Claudia is a very interesting person that, she didn't say anything about her being a newspaper reporter. What else, Claudia? She's done so many things. She's covered lots of crimes, court cases, famous court cases, on and on. She's a very interesting person. If you've not got to talk to her, she wants to meet you and talk with you, like she said, and communicate. So I really encourage you to do so. She's fun. And she's bumping in the same house as Reeves, Indiana. So Reeves, Indiana, y'all educate her a little bit. I'm sure that'll happen.
We had a good time last night.
Yeah. Next on the agenda, we have our old friend Rob Butter that, like I said, worked here for many, many years, and he worked here while Rick Ben was here, and I think Rob may have the record for selling the most lot homes in a year of anybody in the industry. I don't know if anybody's disputed that or not, but he's a tremendous salesperson. He tries to sell us advertising now, so anyway, but we're pretty tough. But Rob Butter, come on up.
All right, thanks, Jeff. You hear me in the cheap seats? All right, everybody stand up. Take a deep breath. Let it out. You guys look like you ate a lot of gravy. Okay, you sit down. Bacon makes me sleepy. Bacon also makes me happy. Thanks for breakfast, by the way, everybody, whoever cooked. Nick, I wanted to tell you that if my hair was still brown and still coming out all over my head, I'd grow it out.
It's really liberating.
Yeah, I'm actually envious.
You should see my beard.
It is great to be here this morning. A recurring thing I'm hearing over and over is everybody's been speaking this morning is family. And, just because I left on stage to pursue other things, it's still family. This is my family. And I wouldn't miss this for anything. I appreciate having the opportunity to talk to you all this morning for a few minutes and to share some thoughts. Just so you know, too, I own a little radio station in Manchester, Tennessee, a home of Bonnaroo. I don't go to Bonnaroo. It happens, but there's weird things in there. And we carry the Dave Ramsey Show. I heard that mentioned a couple times this morning. So I listen to Dave every day, whether I want to or not. Okay. It's good to see a lot of faces that I haven't seen in a long time, too. I remember having these dealer conventions at different places, but I was telling Jeff the other day, I like having it here. There's something about coming to malls, isn't there? That just, I don't know, it's like a reunion or something. Okay, so this morning, we're going to talk for a little while about selling houses. Who here wants to sell more houses? Everybody? Anybody not raise your hand because Josh wants to talk to you. Okay, we all want to sell more homes, right?
Yeah.
Want to sell more homes. We're going to talk a little bit about selling more homes this morning. Now, I did sell homes for many years here, but I'm going to tell you right now that if I was to sell homes today, the way I sold them then, I would not be very successful because people have changed. The customers have changed. People have changed how they shop. They have changed how they research. They have changed how they make decisions over time. Now, my current position, I work for Log Home Living Magazine, Country's Best, Timber Home Living, the logging timber shows, the websites, the seminars, the webinars, the universities, and all that business. So I talk to a lot of customers, your potential customers, and they tell me things that they would never have told me when I was a salesperson. Because it's like all of a sudden I'm on their side. Anybody here ever went to a car dealership and you're walking on the lot and you go up and you're looking at the car and you can feel the salesperson coming. You don't even see them, you can feel it. And the hair on the back of your neck starts rising up. And you build this wall, don't you? Right? Because he's going to try to sell you something. So in my position now, when I do the Logging Timber Universities, people will pull me to the side and they'll tell me all kinds of things. They'll actually answer the budget question truthfully. Can you believe that? They won't do that with you, because they're going to lowball you. So, what I try to do is pick their brain, try to find out, well, you know, what are you thinking? How are you doing this? And I've talked to a lot of people and been able to find out a lot of things that I think can help you sell more homes if you can figure out how they're buying it. Because that's the key. If we're going to make more sales, we have to sell like people are buying. I was in Allentown, Pennsylvania at a logging timber home show this spring. I had a couple in my university class who owned property in the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina. They currently lived in New Jersey. They had dreamed of building a log home for years. They had been subscribing to Log Home Living magazine for 8 years. They had been planning, they had been dreaming, they had recently sold their business, and they were finally ready to fulfill this dream that they had had for years. How many of you have had a customer kind of like that? It's years, right? They came to the show. They came to the university. They were so excited. They were there to buy. They had a budget of $1.5 million cash. Who wants to talk to them? I got your number. They came to the university, of course, they hung on every word. She was making notes. They had a scrapbook stuffed with pictures that they had clipped out and saved and floor plans. 6 hours later, as the show was closing, I see him leaving. And I go over and I talk to him. I say, how did he go? Hit the slide one time. And this is how they looked. This is how they looked. They had come so excited to fulfill a dream. They thought they were going to get the information. They thought they were going to find their dream builder. They thought they were going to finally do this thing. And that's what they got. That's what they got at the end of the day. They looked, and you know, the guy told me, he said, you know, I don't even know if we're going to go on home now. He said, because it just seems like it's really hard. Because that guy over there said that that guy was lying. And that guy over there said that guy was lying. And that guy over there said that guy's a crook. So I figured they must all be lying. And they went home. I wish I could tell you I've only heard that story once. But I hear that story multiple times at every show. Millions and millions of dollars. Where'd Josh go? Jeff, I'll let you stand in. What if I stayed double sales? How would that make you feel? What if every dealer in here doubled their sales? How would that make you feel?
Real good.
See? You're in North Carolina. Okay, next. Ding. So, what do buyers want? First, let's talk about what they don't want. Hit it again. One more time. Nobody wants to live in a package. I have never had a come to me and say, gee, I really want to live in a log home package. I think they're awesome. I'm just going to get right up underneath that wrap. Hunker down. People don't even know what that is. They don't even know what it is. Let's say you went to the car dealership again and you wanted a brand new pickup truck. And the guy selling you the pickup truck says, you know what? That pickup truck right there, that's only $15,000. Brand new, four-wheel drive, diesel. Do it. He said, man, that's awesome. But that's for the package. See, we're just going to hang you some boxes. Then there's a truck in there. And you can assemble it yourself. But it's not the whole truck. We'll even drive it in. But that's not going to include interior trim or carpet or air conditioning. It's just going to be the chassis and like the fenders and glass. That's all you get. That's not what people are buying. When you go to the car dealership, you buy a truck, you can get in and drive away, right? When people are shopping for a home, yes, we're going to talk about package later in the sales cycle, right? Because that's part of the deal. But initially, when you first meet them, what's in their mind is a house. I tell people in the university all the time, one of our challenges as salespeople is to extract the dream from their head. Because in here, they've already sat on their front porch. In here, they've already cooked dinner in the kitchen. In here, they've already built a fire in their fireplace. So our challenge is to find out through good questions what their dream is, so that Fred and his team can put it on paper, they can be manufactured and built, and someday they're living in that dream that they've had all these years. One more time. I'm really sorry to tell you about this, and I gave this presentation to another company that just made them really upset, but people really don't care about your wood. They don't care. They don't care. People, 9 out of 10 people, if you ask them what this was, they'd say that's wood. It's wood. What kind of wood? I don't know, but it's wood. Go ask 10 people today that live in a conventional home what kind of wood their studs in their house are made out of. You think any of them will be able to answer it? No. Now, this company uses a particular kind of wood or a couple different kind of wood, but why do you use that? Because it works good in log houses. Period. Right? Most people don't care. They don't care. They don't know. I talked to Roland Sweet, who's the editor of Log Home Living magazine. He's been editing Log Home magazines for 30 years. 30 years. He gets hundreds and hundreds of letters, emails, every month from readers with questions about stories in the magazine. I asked Roland, I said, have you ever had anybody ask you what species of wood was used in that house that you featured? He said, never. Never, ever, never. We're going to get to this later. Hang with me. Next. They don't care about your fasteners. I'm going to brag on Sharon for a minute. Sharon, you're awesome. Where were we at? Lakeland? Lakeland, Florida. Honestly, is sponsoring the Log Home University. We'll talk about that in a minute. Don't let me forget, because that's what we'll deal with. And as a sponsor of Log Home University, here's 100 and something people in a room. They paid $119 a couple to listen to me talk for 5 hours. Bless their hearts. Can you imagine? They're serious customers. They don't land, they're there to buy. I've got 4 sponsors. First guy gets up to introduce himself. And he walks up to the podium and he goes, we're the Standing Dead customers. We're the Standing Dead company. That's what we do. Standing Dead timber. And he sits down. Next guy gets up. We use through bolts. That's right, I said through bolts. Then he sits down. Next guy gets up. Laminated logs. That's all I got to say to you. Laminated logs. He sits down. Sharon, who's awesome, gets up and says, we build people's dream homes. And we've been doing it for 35 years. And we can build your dream house. Who gave the right answer? Do you remember those two people? Those people in that room didn't know a flipping thing. They didn't know what Standing Dead was. What is that? Is that something at the cemetery? I had a lady come up to me at the break one time and she said, I thought they killed dry pottery. I said, well, I think they do kill dry pottery, but they're talking about something else. They don't know what through bolts are. Next. They don't care about your dryness. Be dry. That's all I got to say. Next. And most of all, they don't want you running down the Peterson in the next booth. I mean, come on. You guys aren't doing that, right? It drives me insane. I hear some dude over here saying, well, you know, that guy over there, he don't use through bolts. You know, that makes him an idiot. And the customers are